Hello learners, welcome to our biology lesson number 10. We are proceeding with the study on a topic ecology, and today's focus is adaptations of plants to various habitats. To begin with, students, what is the meaning of habitat? What is the meaning of habitat? Habitat is a specific locality with sets of conditions where an organism lives. For an organism to live in a particular habitat, there must be a set of conditions to enable the organism to thrive, to survive in that particular habitat. For organisms to be suited in that habitat, to emphasize, students, there must be a set of conditions, not a condition, a set of conditions. Now, the set of conditions enable the organisms to survive, or it increases the high chances of survival to that particular organism. And therefore, we can say, when the set of conditions have necessitated the survival of that organism, then that organism gets adapted. So students, we have known that habitat is a specific locality, a place with a set of conditions where an organism lives. It is now prudent that we understand various types of habitats, mentioning at least one of the conditions that enables organism to survive. Types of habitats. One of the common type of habitat we have dry habitat, which is characterized by high temperatures and low amount of rainfall, limited amount of what? Of rainfall. We have two examples. We have arid areas and semi-arid areas. Plants such as euphorbia, cactus can survive in this habitat with the set conditions such as high temperatures, limited amount of rainfall, and others. Another one, we have aquatic, actually the opposite of dry habitat, aquatic habitat. This is a specific locality which has water in abundance. So we can say it is water habitat. It is having a lot of moisture, a lot of water. We can have fish surviving in such habitats. We also have a terrestrial habitat. You can also call it land habitat. This is a specific locality with moderate set of conditions. For example, moderate amount of water received. We have moderate temperatures, not very high temperatures, and not very low temperatures. We have salty habitats with high concentration of salts. So students, These are the common types of habitats we have, and as I've mentioned, every habitat has got set of conditions that will necessitate the survival of that particular organism which actually lives there. Once we have known at the minimum of habitat, we have known types of habitat. Now the question is, back to our subtopic, adaptations of plants. What are these plants which can survive in these habitats? But before we go to the plants, let us look at the adaptation. What is the meaning of adaptation? And how can we say that organism is adapted? What is the meaning of adaptation? This is a characteristic stroke feature that enables an organism to survive in a specific environment. With set conditions, in bracket habitat. The characteristic that enables an organism to survive in a specific environment with a set of conditions is what we call adaptations. An organism must have the adaptations to enable it survive in a specific environment. Now, what are the broad categories of adaptations that an organism may have to enable it survive? Broad categories of adaptations. Number one, we have structural adaptation. We have number two, behavioral adaptations, the behavior of an organism. Behavioral adaptations. We have physiological adaptations. Structural adaptations are based on the body parts of an organism. Some plants have got deep roots, and that is structural. Some plants have got thick, waxy cuticle, that is structural adaptation. Some plants have got high number of stomata on the upper part of the leaf surface. Some have got a reduced size of the leaves. So those are examples of structural adaptations. We have behavioral adaptations. Some plants thriving in dry areas shed their leaves during the dry conditions or drought. Some plants undergo a reversed stomatal rhythm. Some organisms or some plants also undergo some changes by folding their leaves. So those are behavioral adaptations. Then we have physiological adaptations. Some organisms prevent are the loss of water by transpiration, by reducing the rate of transpiration. Some organisms have got what is known as hydrophytes. You know, in form 2, in a topic, transport in plants and animals. So, any process that an organism undergo to enable it survive in a particular habitat, that particular adaptation based on a process is known as physiological adaptation. Now, we have known the meaning of adaptation, we have known the broad categories of adaptation. Now, what are these plants which are adapting to a particular habitat? We have known the meaning of habitat, we have known the meaning of adaptation, given other broad categories. Now, what are the plants which are able to survive in various habitats by adapting structurally, behaviorally, and physiologically? Types of plants based on the habitat where they are adapted. Number 1, we have those plants which thrive in dry habitats. We call them xerophytes, or you can refer to them as xerophytic plants. Number 2, we have those which survive in waterlogged areas. We call them hydrophytes. Actually, hydrophytic plants. We have those plants which survive in terrestrial environment or on a terrestrial habitat. We have mesophytes, stroke mesophytic plants. And finally, we have those plants which survive in salty habitats, habitats with high concentration of salts. We call them halophytes. The word halo means salt. Halophytes or halophytic plants. So students, that marks the end of our lesson 10. In our lesson 11, we're going to look at the adaptations of xerophytes. Students, attached are the notes and some assignments. Kindly do and submit. If you have a question, you are free to ask so that you may understand it more and more. May God bless you. I wish you all the best.